Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day, contrary to the 5% decrease in Bitcoin, right? It's hard not to be amazing when you see such awesome colors across the board, right? Unless you are Adam, you're really not seeing any type of increase in price here today. All right. So, regardless of that fact, I'm not a financial advisor. Hope you can learn something here today. My goal is to teach you how to become a better trader, and I'm truly passionate about cryptocurrency and, of course, trading in general. Been trading for over 15 years. So, if you can learn something here today, of course, that would be wonderful. Also, note too, I'm not a financial advisor, of course, but I do have a trading academy where I teach you how to become a better trader and a trading community as well to help you understand basically everything you need to know, right? Send out signals for every single trade that I take. And truth be told, we actually closed our signal last night. I had to manually close a long position we had with an altcoin based on Bitcoin misbehaving. Expected Bitcoin to increase? Yes, absolutely. But it's hard to really anticipate all this crazy chaos over in the other country, or your country perhaps, depending on where you're watching this, right? Russia, Ukraine, that whole thing caused this, right? So it's not just, bad TA, it's mostly all fundamentals and things that we can't truly have any control over, right? So the best thing you can do is have a stop loss in place to ensure that the price keeps going down like it had. You don't get, you don't get wrecked, okay? So regardless of that fact, let's go ahead and talk about the obvious. I also want to cover some important stuff too here with the CME gap, with futures as well, so you understand kind of what that looks like. But let's go ahead and first start with the one-day chart and just note, obviously, we do see the 50-day moving average working as potential support. Just keep in mind this moving average is working its way down, and 41,000 slash 41,500 is essentially a key level support. And what I mean by that is if we take just say roughly here, this is like this whole year. If we look at this time frame, this is roughly this year's worth of trading data. If we take the volume profile of that, you can see a huge shelf right here, right at 41,000. And if we lose that, potential drop, right? Not claiming that we're going to see that plummet, but if we do lose 41,000, there's a strong chance we'll see a push to the downside to possibly test somewhere in the range of 35 or lower. Okay. Again, not trying to scare you there. No doom and gloom, okay? But for the most part, we're looking all right. I just need you to know that that is a possibility, okay? Regardless of how potential 46 or 50,000 is, as I still feel it is potential. If we continue to get this ridiculous news and things things escalate, we will expect to see Bitcoin decrease in price and even the dominance from Bitcoin receding. And to touch on that too, just so you understand, because I get this question a lot: what is Bitcoin dominance and what does it mean, right? Because Bitcoin dominance is an interesting thing where the price of Bitcoin goes down, or sorry, the Bitcoin dominance essentially, say that goes down, you're usually going to expect altcoins to increase. It's kind of an inverse pairing, if you will. And it's kind of strange because you would expect the price of Bitcoin to go up and then altcoins would follow. That is true, but concurrently, usually Bitcoin dominance is lowering while altcoins are increasing. So right now, though, it's a little bit contradictory because we have a major sell-off, Bitcoin sold off, and so did the altcoins. They're taking profits. Whomever has money in the industry that isn't hodling, typically the large market investors, they're taking their profits. So dominance comes down, same as the price as everything else. But as Bitcoin dominance starts to increase, you can expect this little shift in momentum, so to speak, for Bitcoin price to increase. And then, of course, the inverse would happen. Dominance starts to recede a little bit, and then altcoins start to surge. So again, it's an interesting little scenario, but it's definitely a relevant thing to be aware of. A lot of times it'll move contrary to what you expect it to. So just kind of know that. Another thing, why don't we go ahead and touch on this as well? Because the CMA gap, I think, is really important to understand. We did fill the recent CME gap here from the 14th. So, over the weekend, essentially, there was a gap up, and that is essentially getting filled today, right? So in the last 4 hours, that got sufficiently filled. CME gap here as well, back from the 6th of February, still has yet to be filled. Okay, so what I'm getting at here is that that's right at 41,000. So there's a possibility the price could, shoot down to 41,000 to fill that gap, and effectively that could be the bottom, right? But if we continue to blaze through that and push lower, just know there's not a lot of volume below 41,000. That could be a significant concern in the sense that the price may very well drop, further sub 40,000 into the upper 30s slash mid 30s. Right. Again, possibility, not saying it's going to happen, but I'm telling you that in general, it's more likely than not at this point, considering the simple fact that we're kind of progressing that way already. Okay, and we're already kind of close. So yeah, once again, we got to support about 41.5. You can see that was the lowest point here recently on the 13th. That was just a few days ago. But generally speaking, that's just the reality of the situation. Okay, so just kind of want to throw that out there. So let's go ahead and backtrack to the one-day chart and kind of finish this up here. So looking at the moving averages, we are testing 50 on the RSI. Not fantastic. We close above that, we're going to be looking good. I would love to see a close today above the current price point. So above 41,500 would be a key support to have. In other words, if the price doesn't drop below 41.5 today, we could and very well should be able to maintain that support level pending no craziness with the news, right? You know, things go to war, everything goes crazy. It might be a different story. If things calm down and relax, which they did earlier in the week, we saw this nice significant 5% increase. So again, a lot of different things could happen here. So I'd recommend being very cautious and very careful with your trading right now. Tight stop losses. Yes, it sucks to get stopped out, but sometimes you got to make that call or just be okay with that. Because just say for example last night hadn't those trades gotten closed, right? Or we got close to this trailing stop loss anyways. Hadn't that happened, I mean, it would have went down an extra 5 or 10%. So you got to be okay with taking a loss sometime. That's just the way it works. But regardless of that fact, here at that point, we're at 41.8 for the moment. We wicked down to roughly 41.7, 41.6. So in that sense, we should expect to see hopefully some consolidation at the current price point, which again, I would say 41,500 is a solid support so far. It was tested 4 days in a row previously and never broke past that. Once again, not a lot of volume below that point, so just be aware of that. Let's look at some other things here really quick and call it a day. Looking at the moving average, we can see we absolutely lost the 50-day simple moving average. That was a very sharp and significant downtrend. Obviously, that happened, in the last 4 to 8 hours, but that was a result of the news, right? Again, it wasn't just random sell-off, it was absolutely related to the news. So we just got to be mindful of that. I don't love the fact that news affects things the way that it does, but it's just the kind of the nature of things. So the more you understand, the better. Not saying you want to just sit there and watch the news all day, because that's not good either, but generally speaking, educate yourself, I guess, is the common denominator here. But what we can see here, of course, on the 50, sorry, correction. On the RSI, 50 on the RSI was lost. Okay, so we're under 50 and above 30. Basically implies that we have bearish sentiment on the 4-hour time frame. So the midterm, which translates into the long term, the macro, essentially is telling us we have a shift in momentum from bullish to bearish, right? So we got a bearish divergence. We've got price under 50 essentially on the RSI and the 4-hour, and we're also under 50 as well on the simple moving average too. So those are all adverse signs, not great. The one saving grace we have here, which is trending right around 40,500 approximately, plus or minus, is the 200-day simple moving average. That could and should hopefully work as a support level if we get down to that level. Once again, we test that CME gap. When we fill that gap, so to speak, we could very well see 40,000 get tested in the relative near future. Okay, so again, that's just kind of the nature and the way that it's looking here. Obviously, since the market opened, we can see the significant downtrend here. That is reflectant of the traditional market, and of course, what's going on in the world. So taking a look here at the Ichimoku cloud, I'm sure we're going to get a significant sell signal here. And obviously, once the price broke below the cloud, sometime around 2 a.m. when I was sleeping, would have been a great time to take a short position, because it broke below the cloud. We have the lagging span, free and clear of any price action, and of course, we got the conversion line below the baseline. So all good signs here. If you have a short position, continue to leave it open. That's basically what it's telling us. There's no reason to close it. Just know we are coming into a support channel at 41,500, so it may not come down much lower. We might get a little bit of a candle wick down to 40/41, but I have to hope that it's done for the day, but it's too early to tell. There's truly no saying what's going to happen next. What we can look at here, though, is that we are exhausted. Okay, so this is a positive sign in the sense that we're at a 9 on TD sequential. Should we expect the price to go much lower from here? We shouldn't. No. Oftentimes when you hit a 9 on TD sequential, the likelihood of it going much lower is fairly low. In other words, we've seen 9 candlesticks of continuation of the downside, right? So it started here as a 1, came all the way down, 4.95% later, we are at a 9. Okay, so 9 hours from whence it came, about 44,000, got rejected at the resistance and shot straight down. So in that sense, it's basically a positive consolation if you are a long-term holder and or just planning to take a long trade versus a short trade, you are in better shape considering buying the dip. However, as we can see, it is absolutely continuing to show signs of weakness. So by all means, do not, by any sense of the imagination, just take a long position right now thinking you found the bottom. That's not how it works. You want to wait for consolidation, wait for the price to continue sideways for some time, and ensure we get a good firm base of volume. Okay, we don't have enough price at this, or we don't have enough volume at this price point to effectively feel comfortable with it. Yes, we have previous data here, but we don't have any at the most recent time frame right now. So exactly right now at this time, I would not say this is worth investing in. It's absolutely a gamble if you go long at 41.5. Trust me on that. It's not sure for the moment. Okay, there's no certainty here. Of course, there's no certainty it's going to keep going down as well, but it's not showing any strength. All right, there's literally nothing on the indication here telling us it should turn around or should we expect it to turn around. I think it would be foolhardy to think that. So once again, I would say continue to maintain your short positions if you have them. Pay close attention. Ensure you have a trailing stop loss in place just in case we get a large candle wake up or the price comes all the way up and recovers, which would be great. But I don't think it's very realistic at this point to expect that. So again, we're not looking great by any stretch of the imagination. Just, if there's any consolation here, it is the fact that we're overextended and we should not expect the price to come down much lower. Once again, logic can be defied quite easily in cryptocurrency. When there's fundamentals and things of that nature that are out of our control, sometimes the best TA doesn't matter. All right. I hate to even admit that because this is something I love and I enjoy doing, and it's helped me be very successful in this industry. But on the same accord, it's not really all that relevant at this exact moment, if that makes any sense. I hope I've been clear and descriptive enough for you. But that's pretty much all we have here today. We'll take another look at it again tomorrow, of course. Just exercise caution is all I ask. If you're going to buy the dip, dollar cost average, do not put everything into your position. Don't take a leveraged 20x on the way up, because I can assure you it's too early to tell if that's a secure and safe estimate, okay? So once again, be cautious, be careful. If you want a leg up in the industry and you want to make sure that you are a safer, better, more efficient trader, feel free to check out my trading community. I also have a trading academy, of course, where I teach you how to be a better trader and share my signals with you as well, so you know how to structure your trades effectively. And that's all on CryptoCache.tech. Feel free to reference that at your leisure. Link in the description below. We'll look forward to getting to know you better, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you soon.